You may know her. She's a Hollywood star and producer. Late actress Diane Keaton died at 79. After surprising Diane Keaton rumors emerged, Hollywood fans are in disbelief. The adored actress, known for her famous roles and dazzling personality, has made tragic news. The rumor of her death has spread rapidly. The truth behind these claims. Has one of the world's greatest stars died? Is this enigma deeper than it seems? Today we learn Diane Keaton's horrible fate. Death of Diane Keaton mystery. Hollywood is in mourning as Diane Keaton tributes flood social media. Fans are devastated, but her co-stars, who knew her best, are even more so. Bette Midler, her First Wives Club co-star, sent a tearful note. She described Diane as amusing, unique, and jealousy-free. She struck hardest with her last line. She lacked cunning. Because they define Diane, those words speak louder than any headline. Genuine, honest, and unapologetic. Diane stood out in a world of image and illusion. She didn't follow Hollywood's rules or adopt a persona. On film, she was who she was off. Authentic, quirky, and fearless. Her unusual honesty made her a cinematic star and a mirror for millions who recognized their imperfect, lovely selves in her performances. Performing her daughter in Father of the Bride, Kimberly Williams Paisley called working with Diane one of her greatest gifts. Sharing the film with a legend was like entering a grace and creative masterclass for her. Diane was kind and respectful to everyone, from young actors to the film crew, making even the most apprehensive newcomer feel confident. That was her silent strength. She brightened a scene and boosted everyone. Viola Davis, Reese Witherspoon, Josh Gad, and others pay tribute, painting a portrait of a truly real lady. They remember her joy, curiosity, friendliness, and ability to calm a stressful environment. She didn't seek fame. She sought truth. She was memorable for that. Love pours out, but a strange silence remains. Famously, Diane Keaton never married and lived her own life. She adopted 2 children, made a joyful home, and defied gender norms. She broke every Hollywood rule for women, preferring freedom above conformity. She dated Hollywood icons Woody Allen, Al Pacino, and Warren Beatty. Diane never allowed her relationships define her. She was fiercely independent, leaving a legacy of living, not loving. Her power and quiet resistance made her an idol beyond film, a role model for women who stood alone and shined. Fan detectives are searching her last Instagram postings for clues. Her final images show her bright and full of life, wearing her characteristic headwear, laughing freely, and emanating the same vivid spirit that defined her for decades. How could someone so alive die so suddenly? Family silence adds to the mystery. The reason of death is unknown. No official statement beyond privacy request. Although understandable, it has left a hole that conjecture readily fills. Was it sudden? A private illness? Or something unexpected? New theories every hour. Others recall her forthright aging and health interviews. Others question if her final days had clues we missed. One truth outshines the rest. Diane Keaton was irreplaceable. In an industry obsessed with fame and facade, she represented genuineness, artistry, and heart. According to her directors, she was daring and brought fresh ideas that boosted entire projects. Co-stars recall how she let others shine without insisting on the spotlight. In a culture where attention is currency, Diane showed that excellence doesn't scream, just exists. As the world mourns her passing, one mystery haunts every homage and unanswered headline. What happened in those final hours? What secrets may that amazing smile conceal? Stay with us. The mystery of Diane Keaton and her silent death. Shocking news spread across California and the world. Television anchors, journalists, and fans rushed to confirm what no one wanted to hear. Diane Keaton, whose comedy, sensitivity, and style affected decades of movies, died. Her family released a brief, sorrowful statement. Yes, she died, but how and why were not stated. Uncaused death. Her final hours are unknown. A polite request for seclusion. Hollywood was shaken by that stillness, leaving everyone wondering, what became to Diane Keaton? In 1946, Diane Hall was born in Los Angeles and appeared destined to stand out. Her rise to stardom wasn't glamorous. Before the lights, cameras, and applause, many visionaries were shattered by endless auditions, closed doors, and rejection letters. Diane wasn't a typical dreamer. She was restless, determined, and little odd, which would define her cinematic presence. She didn't seek celebrity when she moved to New York. She sought belonging. While her peers settled down, she struggled in acting school, had odd jobs, and wondered if she'd ever succeed. Some nights, she almost quit, questioned whether the sacrifices were worth it. Her spark, which made her unusual, kept her going. Opportunity altered everything when it knocked. She played Kay Adams in The Godfather in 1972, acting against Al Pacino's icy but captivating Michael Corleone. The film made her famous and unforgettable. In the sequels, she played a lady torn between love and morality in a world of loyalty and criminality. Although viewers praised her performance, a creative alliance was emerging behind the scenes that would change American cinema. Something amazing happened when Diane and Woody Allen collaborated. On and off film, their chemistry was unmistakable. Annie Hall in 1977 was more than a movie. Revolutionary. Diane went beyond winning an Oscar for her quirky, emotional, and delightful Annie Hall. A cultural movement began. Her baggy masculine clothes, floppy hats, and humorous one-liners defined originality. Everyone wanted to speak, dress, and act like her. Few realized Annie Hall was more than a character. It was Diane. Woody Allen based the part on her idiosyncrasies, speaking mannerisms, and genuine last name, Hall. Their partnership blended fiction, reality, love, and art. Rumors of their romance added to the intrigue, generating ongoing discussions. Success followed success. Hollywood praised her with 4 Oscar nominations, Golden Globes, and BAFTAs. Diane remained steady. She was humble, real, and weirdly shy about her success while others drowned in celebrity life. Her co-stars called her friendly, witty, and interested. She was able to make people feel like old friends around her, despite being an icon. Her filmography evolved with her, becoming complex, witty, and relatable. As the sweet and patient mother opposite Steve Martin in Father of the Bride, she won hearts. She became a symbol of courage and female camaraderie through the First Wives Club. Her relationship with Jack Nicholson in Something's Gotta Give showed that love and laughter persist in old age. Each performance exposed a different part of her. Fearless but weak. Confident but internally focused. Her private life became more mysterious as her reputation grew. Never married, she avoided Hollywood's epic romances and heartbreaks. Instead, she forged her own path of independence, inventiveness, and quiet disobedience. Friend after friend stated Diane's off-screen life was more interesting than her acting. Her detailed narrative was motivated by her love of photography, architecture, and her mother's notebooks. But she also studied memory, family, and her mother's Alzheimer's, which affected her understanding of life, love, and loss. Diane Keaton made purposeful choices and profound silences. She was more than an actor. She was a mysterious artist who set her own standards. As the world tries to piece together her final story, one question remains louder than ever. What caused her unusual happiness? What makes her choose love without marriage? Did she master freedom or accept loneliness? Watch to find out. Diane Keaton reinvented love without a ring. For her renown, success, and lasting appeal, Diane Keaton never pursued the goal that many believe concluded a woman's tale. Marriage. Love wasn't about fairy tales or perfect companions for her. A voyage of discovery, tragedy, and profound lessons formed the woman and artist she became. Among Hollywood's biggest stars, she was one of the few who defined love her own way. Raw, honest, and fiercely independent, Diane Hall, before becoming Keaton, met Woody Allen on Broadway in the late 1960s. They clicked quickly as lovers and creative partners. Sam, play it again, they had connection on stage. An odd mix of awkward humor, sensitivity, and honesty. Allen, drawn to her quirky humor and boundless energy, saw something special in her. Authenticity. His subsequent work, Annie Hall, went beyond character creation. He caught Diane. The clothes, mannerisms, vulnerability. It was her. The film was a love letter to their difficult relationship, blending fiction and truth. After their romance ended, they remained friends. Diane considered Woody one of her most significant people, and he always called her his muse. They crafted a chaotic, imperfect, but achingly true image of love that transcended their relationship. Al Pacino ignited a new passion. They met on The Godfather's set, and mutual admiration swiftly blossomed into a steamy romance. He was intense, magnetic, unpredictable, unlike her effort to stay calm. Their love burned brightly, but was always under threat. Keaton wanted to marry Pacino, but he wasn't ready. After it ended, she remarked, "Al was my life." Despite heartbreak, she never gave in. She channeled her pain into her performances, transferring the fragility of lost love into characters who seemed to live her feelings. Warren Beatty, a clever, difficult man, was her next great love. They met on Reds, where Beatty directed and co-starred. Their connection was electric, full of admiration, innovation, and turmoil. Diane saw past his reputation as a Hollywood womanizer. She called him generous, smart, and fascinating. Like her prior relationships, it ended. Intense attraction turned into repulsion. Diane remembered those relationships with understanding, not regret. She said each man taught her something about herself, how easily love could turn into sacrifice, and how important it was to maintain her sense of self. Her loyalty to these great men defined her, but she recognized her true power came from standing alone. Her decision to never marry puzzled many, especially in an industry where success meant settling down. Diane clarified her reasoning. She said, "I'm too independent. I like solitude." She didn't want to give up a part of herself to marry. Her seclusion wasn't loneliness. It was free. Creativity, friendships, and subsequently parenthood marked her life. Diane took up a new job in her 50s when most actors retired. She called adopting her daughter Dexter in 1996 and her son Duke in 2001 her best decision. Mommyhood softened her, grounding her in a love without expectations. She stated her children brought her calm that romance never did. She found her true calling in giving love unconditionally, not being loved. In Annie Hall, Something's Gotta Give, and Baby Boom, she explored womanhood, loneliness, courage, humor, and the unending search for meaning. Each function resembled a journal entry, a confession for anyone who has loved, lost, or stood alone. Diane Keaton showed that happiness doesn't require marriage or romance. Understanding yourself and accepting your flaws can lead to it. However, her heart's true story, which she only told via words, may reveal much deeper realities. What emotions were buried in her writings? Stay for more. Diane Keaton wrote to remember time's attempts to remove. When Diane Keaton released Then Again in 2011, it wasn't the typical Hollywood memoir. It lacked gossip, red carpet secrets, and celebrity glamour. It was a daughter's search for meaning, much more personal. She lived in her mother's shadow. The book, written with warmth, candor, and Keaton charm, reflected her job, family, worries, and the delicate relationship between mothers and daughters across generations. Dorothy Hall, her mother, is the heart of Then Again. Her daughter discovered her narrative, which might have been lost to time. Dorothy wrote nearly 90 notebooks containing dreams, sketches, memories, and unspoken regrets about her life. In those pages, Diane found more than her mother's words. Her essence was reflected. Dorothy put up her goal of being an artist to raise a family, a decision that tormented her quietly for years. After her mother's death, Keaton read those journals like she was reuniting, not as a daughter gazing up, but as a woman finally comprehending. Didn't have great organization or professional prose. It was a patchwork of thoughts, feelings, and moments. Diane wanted readers to read more than her memories. She wanted them to feel the perplexity, desire, the bittersweet sting of remembering. Her mother's words merged with her own, making a discussion between a mother who forgot her ambition and a daughter who pursued it her whole life. Keaton's declaration that she spent her life trying to be seen resonates throughout the memoir. She realized her mother had the same yearning. Dorothy's journals demanded recognition, silent doubts about her life's meaning. Keaton showed through these comparisons that daughters often inherit their mother's deepest concerns, unsaid hopes, and secret yearning to be recognized, not just their appearance. But the story becomes tragic. As her mother aged, Alzheimer's disease erased Dorothy's identity. The writer and sketcher lost her identity like film reels fading into white. Diane found that transformation intolerable. The sickness took her mother and showed her the fragility of the mind. When memory fades, who are we? After our stories fade, what remains? She answered those questions again. She wrote to preserve what her mother forgot. Each statement connected the parts of a life disintegrating over time. Diane transformed her sadness into a work of love and remembrance that spoke to anybody who's watched a loved one fade into Alzheimer's. She wrote of her mother's decline and her remorse and longing for missing moments, of being too busy chasing fame to spend time with her. However, her honesty helped. Writing helped her say goodbye and remember. Her deepest affection was shown in numerous ways. Keaton returned to sensitive themes of aging, family, self-image, and meaning, and let's just say it wasn't pretty and brother and sister. However, none had the same raw pulse as then. Despite her mother's death, that book was her confession, closure, and connection to the woman who shaped her life from behind the curtain. Keaton promoted Alzheimer's awareness, focusing on the harsh truth that memory defines us. "I write to remember," she explained, since forgetting is like losing myself. Diane Keaton discovered herself by page, memory, and revelation while remembering her mother. Let's discuss how her genuineness influences art, fashion, and identity. Even after she's gone. Stay updated. The iconic renegade who redefined strength and style. Beyond film, Diane Keaton had a huge impact. It changed fashion, femininity, and confidence. Her style went beyond clothes. A matter of identification. The signature wide-brimmed hats, big blazers, pristine white shirts, and fitted vests were more than just wardrobe options. They expressed culture. Keaton made menswear poetry and strong, combining grace and revolt. She made it lovely for women to be strong and soft. Fashion magazines adored her. Designers lauded her creativity. Annie Hall inspired young women to layer pieces with the same bold blend of comfort and charm decades later. She wasn't a relic to them. She timeless. In a world concerned with youth and conformity, Keaton's style showed that aging is a development. She made trends, not followed them. She still dazzled on magazine covers and red carpets in her 70s with her eccentric elegance. Every appearance showed that genuineness is timeless. Keaton's work transcended fashion. She was a filmmaker, producer, author, and performer who saw the creative world from all angles. Directing showed her sharp intuition and subtle narrative. Her memoirs revealed her humor, tenderness, and thoughts on family, stardom, and self-acceptance. Critics lauded her ability to bring Joan Didion's work to life, indicating her skill was not limited to the cinema. Hollywood routinely categorizes people into easy-to-label roles. Diane Keaton refused confinement. She showed that you could be successful without selling your soul, charming without acting, and artistic without being tortured by greatness. At 79, her renowned performances inspired millions, and new generations saw her as a symbol of freedom and innovation. Losing her feels more than losing an actress. It feels like Hollywood's golden age is dimming. Working with legends and becoming one herself, she bridged generations. Her soul lives on in every laugh, suit, and defying choice as tributes and film retrospectives flood screens globe. Because Diane Keaton transformed, not just acted, she let women be themselves, mature gracefully, and find power in authenticity. Her timeless work and flair remind the world that individuality is beautiful. Diane Keaton was a transformation in a turtleneck and cap. What made her charm so timeless? Please share your ideas below. Be sure to like and subscribe.